get used to hearing my voice through this microphone for a minute. I hope you're all having a really amazing time at the conference. One of the things I wanted to say to you today was just like congratulations for being here, investing in yourselves, making yourselves worth it. You know, events like these can be absolutely transformational for you and your business. So I just want to congratulate you for believing that you were worth it and coming along. So it's really nice to see so many of you here, and thank you for picking me. My God, I still had that anxiety. Is anyone going to pick me? Great. Cool. Yay. Awesome. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for picking me. So I'm going to be talking about alignment and mindset in relation to launching. And when, just for a bit of context, when I say launching, you could be launching an e-course, you could be launching a book, an offering, you could be launching your practice, you could just be launching yourself out into the world, whether that's as a brand or just that basic visibility of stepping up, okay? So don't get caught up in, I'm not launching anything at the moment, okay? Because there's all going to be, in some way or another, you can apply launching to yourselves and to your business. Okay, so let's get moving. I'm just going to make sure. Awesome. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and the soulful launching approach. Okay, so I came into the online business world at a time where it was kind of overrun by men. No offense to the men, but it was. It had a very hustly, hypey, uber masculine energy to it. Okay, and even when I was in corporate, before I had my business, I can remember having a power dress and a suit and feeling like the only way to be successful or move up was to basically try and be a man. And women aren't very good men. I'm sorry to say it. We're not very good at being men, right? We're not meant to be men. And so then I started running my business, and I was still buying into this more masculine paradigm in my business, and then I found that I was getting really sick a lot, and then I got adrenal fatigue, take 1, and then 12 months later I got adrenal fatigue, take 2, and I thought to myself, and each time with adrenal fatigue, I would end up more or less in bed for a couple of months with it. I'd do a little bit of work in my business, but I was sleeping a lot. And I realized this wasn't sustainable. There was no way I could continue to run a business in this way. And what was the point if it was just driving me to get sick all the time? And so I decided that I wanted to find a way to launch programs and to run my business and be in my life in a way where I didn't have to get adrenal fatigue as a result. So I kind of just asked myself the question, how do we do this so that we don't get adrenal fatigue? There has to be a different way. And really that is where the soulful launching approach came from. Okay, the soulful launching approach, and men can do this too, is about balancing the masculine and feminine in your business, in your launching, okay? So it's about not being uber masculine or uber feminine, but it's about bringing both to the table. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk to you about alignment, which is a really important factor when you're wanting to put yourself out into the world, put your business out into the world, put your e-course out into the world. And I'm going to share with you my model or approach to being aligned. And that is the Launch Goddess Alignment Path. Why is it called the Launch Goddess Alignment Path? Because one of my programs, Launch Mastery, has a, what would I call it? I use a metaphor of a different goddess with each module. So that's why it has the word goddess in there. And then I'll open up to any questions. I have a plan, but if we need to go off plan, that's fine. And, I am going to ask some questions out to the audience, so we'll just see how it goes. There's a lot of photos of me on this presentation, and some of you might think that's a bit weird, like, is she really, ego-driven and she needs to have photos of herself all over a presentation? One of the most important things about running a business is being visible and being willing to show up, okay? People buy from people, okay? So people want to connect with people, they want to learn from certain people because they feel a connection with that person. And so firstly, a lot of people really struggle to put photos of themselves on their websites, all right? So I really take a stand for showing up and being visible no matter what. Now, I have lost 35 kilos since those photos were taken. I did not feel my best self in those photos, but I showed up anyway, because it's important to show up anyway. So I'm letting you know that because I've had people say, is that even you on your website? It doesn't look like you anymore. It is me. I just happen to have improved my health since then. So my name's Kathryn Hocking. I'm an eCourse expert and a launch strategist. So I've created two main flagship programs, the eCourse Launch Formula and Launch Mastery. The eCourse Launch Formula is all about helping you come up with your idea for your eCourse, create it, write it, technically set it up, get it out into the world, launch it. And Launch Mastery is really about going, okay, how do we make launching sustainable? How can we do this in a way that blends the masculine and feminine? I also have created a few other programs. I have an annual business planning program called Your Soulful Year, and I have a Mistress Mind that I'm running, Your Soulful Business Mistress Mind. I'm also a soul medicine practitioner and soon to be certified intuitive astrologist. So when I talk about merging masculine and feminine, I very much do that myself in my business. I am a mentor, I'm a strategist, I'm a trainer, instructional designer, but I also bring a hell of a lot of soul to the work that I do, and help people to work with their own intuition, help them to improve their mindset, and that's really important to me that I bring both. So I've mentored and coached over 1,000 clients to create and launch online programs and products out into the world. Oh, and skip that, but I'm also writing a book about energetic bravery and about how we can activate our system to be brave in our business. So I created my first business in 2001. I've just realised I can look down, I don't have to keep going like that, with a 1-year-old and a full-time job. So you can do it. You don't have to have 40 hours a week to do this. I started and grew my business using my 1-hour lunch break at work and maybe a few hours at night that I could squeeze in. I quite early on created my signature program, the eCourse Launch Formula, and it was so successful because the online world was just really starting to happen at that point in time, and whilst I had to do some education first, people really got how beneficial passive income was, online income was, and it did really well. So I was able to go full-time in my business by 2013. I had great success with some really massive launches, but something was still missing for me and my clients. I couldn't work out why I was giving them all the strategy, all the tools, showing them how to set it up technically. I had high-level masterminds where they were getting very high levels of support from me, but something was still wrong. They weren't getting their programs out into the world. And I realised it was because that wasn't the issue. Particularly with women, we have so many blocks about being visible and being seen, about what other people are going to say, about whether we're good enough, whether we know enough. And so I realised I really had to be addressing all of these issues if I wanted my clients to be successful. That's not to say none of my clients have been successful. I have loads of success stories, but I was concerned with all these other people. Why weren't they getting these things out into the world? So I created Launch Mastery and a program that blended strategy and soul. I studied my soul and energy medicine practitionership, and I started blending launch strategy and soul medicine together. And I studied astrology intensively last year, and I'm certifying this year. I'm a big believer in going out and getting training and learning and building your toolkit so that you can help people more. I'm writing my first book, as I said, and I have a mistress mind that focuses on alignment, soul purpose, and astrology. So what is the soulful launching approach? Well, it's launching in a way that is amazing for both your body and soul, and your body, mind, and your soul. It's merging intuition with intellect, strategy with soul, and masculine with feminine. It combines the use of sacred spiritual tools and the most effective launch systems, workflows, and sales funnels. And yes, you can absolutely bring those two things together in a really effective way. It's about being so aligned with your launch goals that you attract more of your soul customers than ever before, and you manifest results in a way that feels almost effortless. Now, I have to say, I actually don't like the word effortless. I think it's, I don't know why it's there, really. For me, it's more about flow, because for me, it's not effortless. There's always effort, but it's about that effort flowing and feeling good and being aligned with it. Oops. So we're going to talk about alignment, because true launch success, again, whether you're launching yourself, your brand, your practice, online programs, it comes from alignment with what you're creating and selling. So can anyone tell me what they think alignment means? What does being aligned mean to you?
Being in alignment, sort of like with where you're wanting to go in life, just sort of everything is flowing for you to get.
Yeah, so there's a sense of flow and direction towards what you want. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, being authentic, absolutely. That's really critical. Yeah.
Keeping your dreams aligned with your values.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're saying, I want to do this, but it totally goes against your values, you're really going to struggle to attract that into your life. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to talk through a few descriptions and share with you some of my definitions of alignment. So it's about being in harmony with what you're seeking, what you're saying you want, what you actually believe about yourself and the world, and what your body and soul actually want, okay? So we can be actively going out and saying we want something. I want to enroll 100 people in the next round of my eCourse. Inside, though, you might believe that you're not valuable enough to enroll that many people. You're not worthy. And you might believe that the market's just crap at the moment. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. And then actually deep down, this might not actually be what is in your purpose to do, you know? And so you can see that those things are all working against each other. You're not in alignment. So it's really possible to be out of alignment with what we think we want. And that's why we can keep working and pushing towards things, but for some reason it just won't happen. And it's also possible to realign ourselves, to come back into a sense of alignment. So I really like this quote from the book Rise, Sister, Rise by Rebecca Campbell. She says, aligning your life is a never-ending process. It's a day-by-day, moment-to-moment practice. Not a one-off overhaul. Living a life of alignment is a daily practice. Checking in, staying on course, redirecting as you travel. Noticing what feels good, what feels free and spacious, and also what feels restrictive, stagnant, and stuck. So, another thing we need to know about alignment is it's not something you do once and then you're set. Guys, we need to be constantly aligning to what we want in our businesses. And I'm going to give you some examples right at the end of this presentation about how I've done that in my business. So we've kind of covered this a little bit already, but does anyone want to throw out some words about how it feels when you feel aligned in your life? Yeah, joyful and peaceful. Energizing, absolutely. Sorry? Exciting, yep. Blissfully happy, love that. Yeah, so doesn't that sound amazing? I mean, I want that. So this is what it feels like to be aligned. So if you're not feeling some of these feelings, at least some of the time, then it's a pretty good indicator that you're not aligned. So for me, things feel light. They feel very much in the flow. I feel very energized. You know, I don't feel tired, like I don't really want to do things. I really feel energized. And it feels easeful, which I prefer to the word effortless. It feels very easeful. So think about a time when you were working on something and the hours like just melted away. You might have started at 7 o'clock at night and suddenly you look at your watch. It's midnight. How did that even happen? Okay? That's alignment. It felt like minutes and not hours. And it might have been that your words were flowing out of you, or your creativity was coming out in other ways. And it felt like fun, not like work, right? I used to go to my corporate full-time job every day, 8 hours or whatever a day, come home, have children, get babies to bed, and then I'd still go and work on my business for hours in the evening. Now, you'd only do that if you absolutely loved what you were doing. Otherwise, you're kind of a crazy person to want to be working yourself that hard, but it didn't feel like work. You know, it felt so amazing. So it might have been a time when you created an offering on the spur of the moment, and from just like a bolt of inspiration. Or you might describe it as a divine download, and you put it out into the world, and it's like, it's sold out. So I've had these times where, like, just on a Sunday sitting on the couch, I decided, I might run a business planning workshop for the new year. That seems kind of cool. So I got my laptop out, I wrote some copy, I did some okay design. It wasn't beautiful, but it was okay. Put it out there. Went into a few of my program groups. Hey guys, is anyone interested in like a business planning workshop? Within like 8 hours, it had sold out. I was like, wow, okay. For me, that's alignment. That's when you just get that inspiration, you take the action, and people respond. My mistress mind that has just started was very much like that for me. I really wanted to help people get more in tune with their soul purpose and more aligned in their business using astrology. And so I created this offering and I put it out there, and I filled all the places really easily, whereas previous to that, I tried to put other things out into the world and it just didn't sell. So again, that's alignment. So Cassie Mendoza-Jones, in her book You Are Enough, describes it as eyes bright, heart open, mind clear, which I think is a really beautiful way to describe it. So we've talked about alignment. How does it feel when you are misaligned? What does that feel like? Exhausting. Sorry? Frustrating, absolutely. Limited. Hard. Despair. Yeah. Sorry? Anxious, yes. Let's breathe that out. We don't want to be holding that, do we? We don't want that. Guys, I've absolutely had plenty of times in my business where I felt all of those feelings and I felt misaligned. I actually had a really hard year last year. Like, for those who are into astrology, I'm a Sagittarius. Sagittarians are real vision people, right? Strong sense of vision. And all of my vision just left me. And it was devastating because I'm always the girl that has plans and strategies and knows exactly what I'm doing, and there was none. And I really had to just trust that it was going to come back. And it did. It did. But yeah, it's really hard. So for me, it feels heavy, so opposite of light. It's very fatiguing, which is adrenal fatigue. Okay, I was clearly out of alignment at that time in my business. Feeling burnt out. Often you'll feel very stressed. You'll feel hard, like there's seemingly endless roadblocks. You know, like one thing will come up, like maybe your website gets hacked, and then, you know, some big bill comes in you're not expecting. then you get this horrible client email, then the text system you thought was going to work doesn't work. All of these things just keep happening, right? Endless roadblocks. So during a launch, when I mean a launch, when I'm putting my online programs out into the world and trying to get people to buy them, if I'm misaligned, I'll cringe before I send the sales email because I know it's just not my voice, it's not my language, it's not the way I would talk to people. That's being misaligned. I might find that a million things keep going wrong. I'll find it very hard to attract sales. I'll feel very tired and I'll normally get sick. And the words and enthusiasm just don't flow the way they do when I'm aligned. So I'm not saying that a launch should feel easy. Launches aren't easy, guys. Anyone that's done online launches has launched a website, put themselves out there. We know it's not easy, but it shouldn't feel like pushing stuff, I won't swear, pushing stuff uphill either, okay? So, launch misalignment, what's going to happen is you're going to feel uncomfortable with your communications. This can often happen if you've gotten a copywriter to write your sales emails for you, and it's not you, it's not your voice, it's not your soul, it's not your stories, and you're uncomfortable. You might be uncomfortable with the marketing techniques that some guru or coach has told you that you must use. So you either avoid doing them at all, or you don't actually get them out there effectively. You energetically block sign-ups because subconsciously you don't actually really want them, and people can sense that. So I have a lot of clients when we talk about what are your blocks around launching. Some people are worried that someone's going to copy their work. Some people are worried that they're going to get found out as a fraud. Some people are worried they're going to get accused of copying someone else's work. It can be that they're worried about getting refunds. There's all of these different reasons why we actually block people from buying our programs. Even if in our head we think, yeah, I want the sign-ups, right? On a deeper level, we're actually preventing ourselves from getting these sign-ups. Your launch will feel hard and heavy. You'll probably fail to meet your launch goals or not even track any sign-ups at all. And your mindset will really deteriorate. And what's happening is you're going into a fear and lack consciousness. So the question is, how do we avoid this? And I'm going to tell you. One of the ways is by following my Launch Goddess alignment path, which is a framework for staying aligned during your launch. So to achieve alignment harmony, we need to look at our launch beliefs, our launch thoughts and words, our launch embodiment, and our launch action. It's not enough to just be focusing on one of these things. We need to be looking at them as a whole. So our launch beliefs are both conscious and subconscious things that we deep down at a deep level believe about launching. So they can be positive. We can have positive launch beliefs, but more often than not, they're negative. And they put you out of alignment with achieving your launch goals. They're actually the things that you fundamentally believe to be true about launching. So you might believe that launching is really hard. My one is I always get sick during a launch. Always. Another one I used to have, and I've talked to Denise about this a lot, but was just the more people, I couldn't actually support more people signing up. So I would limit the size of my community because I felt like I couldn't hold the space for more people. So the more people I enroll, the more energy I will drain. I can't have over X number of enrollments, otherwise I'll get adrenal fatigue again. I'll get found out and someone will think I've copied their work. Selling is sleazy and I don't want to send emails because people will unsubscribe. How many of you worry about sending an email out because people are going to unsubscribe from your list? Yeah? I know you do. Or we might just think, I'm never going to be as successful as, insert whoever your kind of idol is. So kind of like, why even bother? So some of them might be things you're conscious of, but when I work with clients, we do energy clearing sessions, things will come up that they never even knew existed. I had one client who just didn't seem to be getting anywhere with her business, didn't seem to be earning any money, and we discovered when we dived down really deep was the 2 times in her life where significant money had come in were when her parents had died and she had gotten an inheritance. And she had linked abundance and money with deep, deep grief and loss of someone she loved. And until we unraveled that and healed that, she was not able to bring in money in her business. So they're not always things that we actually realize. That's why working with someone to help you is really, really valuable. Okay, what's going on? So, guys, what are your launch beliefs? If any of you have thought about putting an ebook out into the world, an e-course out into the world, anything like that, what do you believe about launching? Nobody's going to buy it. Is it going to work?
How is it going to stand out?
How is it going to stand out? Anything else? Is it too expensive? Yeah, worrying about what to charge for it.
There's so many others out there the same.
So many others out there the same, it's kind of not worth putting mine out there. What did someone else?
Oh, yeah, just finding the right time to do it, like maybe the right time, like, you know, like there's never a right time.
Yeah. Mercury retrograde, yep. Yep. It's kind of funny, right? Because I'm an astrologist, so kind of part of me goes, there's never a right time to launch, just get it out there. And the other part of me goes, well, actually, there are some times in your chart that would be better than others. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. Ultimately, you should just get it out there. Okay. So that's launch beliefs. Launch beliefs are the things that consciously or subconsciously you believe about either launching or your ability to launch. Okay? I'm going to talk you through some of the different activities you can do to work on all of these things and clear them towards the end. But that is what launch beliefs is about. Launch thoughts and words are not as ingrained. Okay? They're not as ingrained. They're not things that you fundamentally believe all of the time. They're more kind of in the moment if you're having a bad day or whatever. But I've got a funny story. When I was enrolling Launch Mastery for the first time, and it was at the time, this was a big departure from what I was known for, what I did. You know, I was bringing a soulful, spiritual side into my business, and it felt super scary. And I can remember during the launch saying to myself in my head and to my husband, I can remember saying to him, just need to get 10 enrollments. If I get 10 enrollments, that will be okay. If I get 10 enrollments, I won't be embarrassed. If I get 10 enrollments, I won't have to cancel the program. Just got to get 10 enrollments. Get 10 enrollments, you know, I won't make a loss, da-da-da. So I kept, every night during this launch, kept saying, just need to get 10 enrollments. How many enrollments do you think I got, guys? 10. Imagine if I'd said 100, right? The things that we are saying to ourselves, whether out loud to someone else or in our heads, are so, so powerful, okay? I literally capped my receiving potential because I kept reinforcing that number 10, okay? We need to be really conscious and mindful of what we're saying. So they can be positive or negatives, again, but the key is this mindfulness practice. So we can reframe them. If we notice that we're saying something that is negative, we can actively write it out and then go, okay, how can I reframe this statement? So if I had this thought that I always get sick in a launch, I could reframe serving my clients energizes me. Okay, so it's about flipping it around and reinforcing something positive rather than negative. But you need to be doing this constantly. This has to be a daily practice. So if any of you, again, have tried to put something out, what's something that maybe might not be a belief, but something that you've maybe said to your best friend or your husband or something like that? Can you think of it? I hate launching. Yeah, I've heard you say that. I've seen you write it in blogs.
Say it ever again.
Absolutely. I mean, how's that going into a launch? You're like, I hate this, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So it's just as important to be aware of the launch thoughts and words as the beliefs, because you're actually reinforcing those more often. So launch embodiment is about bringing your body on board with this whole process, okay? We've been very much up in the mind with these previous ones and energetically with the beliefs. But launch embodiment is about bringing your body wisdom on board. And women in particular have an amazing gift, which is body wisdom. We literally feel in our body when something isn't right, okay? If we allow ourselves to tune in and listen. So it's about feeling into those launch goals, even feeling into what you think you want to put out there in the first place, and ensuring that we're aligned from a body wisdom perspective. So embodiment draws on practices of meditation, potentially channeling information and intuition to feel into the reaction that our body has in relation to different products, launch goals, and launch approaches to ensure that we're aligned with it. So I'm just going to do a really quick embodiment practice with you. So I just want you to close your eyes for me. And I want you to think about something that either you're putting out there now or you're thinking about putting out there, okay? Close your eyes, put one hand on your stomach and one on your heart. This is, guys, and just generally, if you ever need to tune in, this is so simple but so powerful. Like, there's just something about bringing your gut. We actually have a brain in our gut, a brain center in our gut. We have one in our heart and we have one in our brain. It actually brings them all together, okay? So put your hands on your stomach and heart and think about something you want to put out into the world. Imagine creating it. Imagine putting together the sales page. Maybe you're working with a designer. Maybe you're doing it yourself. Imagine yourself sending emails, telling people about it. Imagine receiving money for it. Imagine delivering it and supporting your people through it. Imagine teaching it. Imagine being known for it, like you are that go-to person on this topic. And now with your eyes still closed, I want you to really tune in. How does this feel? Does this feel expanded or contracted? Your body might have even either opened up or closed in on itself. Do you feel excited or do you feel stressed? So just take a few deep breaths and then open your eyes. And I want to know, did you have a feeling of being expanded or contracted? Okay. Anyone feel contracted? Yeah? Okay. If you felt contracted, this could be one of two things. I'd love to just say, oh, you're misaligned. That's it, right? Sometimes it's just fear. And fear is okay. Fear is normal, and fear is actually an indicator that you're meant to do it. Misalignment is when it's not the right thing to do. You need to do more of this embodiment work to really tune into, is this fear or is this misalignment? But if you are feeling contracted, it's quite likely that this is either not the right product for you, not the right topic, not the right audience. So do some more work to really delve into what that right thing is for you. You can use this when you're deciding what you want to launch, when you are aligning to launch goals, like how many people you want to enroll, when you're making other business decisions. Oftentimes when I have a client on a call and they're talking around things and I can tell, like, they might have 3 different options they're thinking about doing in their business and they just can't see a clear way, I will do this activity, but I will guide them through a visualization of each of these things and get them to imagine their life. If they went this way, imagine your life if you went that way, and they will, once they open their eyes at the end, they know. They got a body reaction, a visceral body reaction to either in a negative way or a positive way to one of those options. And it's so simple. And oftentimes people say to me, I've been obsessing over this for 12 months, and in 2 minutes, you help me work out which way I should go. That's how powerful your body wisdom is. So, launch action. Our actions need to be in alignment with our launch goals. So we can have great beliefs and thoughts, we can practice embodiment, we can have done lots of energy clearing work, but if we don't take action or we take the wrong actions that are misaligned, we're still not going to be in alignment. So our actions, our strategies, our communications, our connection with our tribe must be in alignment with our goals and with our souls, okay? We need to check in regularly and ask ourselves things like, does this feel authentic? Someone mentioned authenticity before. Does this feel authentic? Does this feel real to me? Does this feel honest and real? Am I comfortable with this strategy or tactic? So many people hire expensive coaches or strategists who tell them to do something, and they do it because they've paid a lot of money to be told what to do, but it's not the right thing and it doesn't work. Does this align with my ethics? I've got quite a high sense of ethics, and I've had to be really clear in my business what ethically I'm prepared to do and what I'm not. Okay? If you're doing something that goes against ethics, like, for example, saying my launch did 6 figures when it really didn't because you think that's what will make people buy. Okay? For me, that goes against my ethics. That's just wrong. I'll never lie about how much I've made from something. Okay? So you need to decide what those ethics are for you and make sure your actions are in line with it. Am I respecting my audience, right? It's just a pretty simple question. This email that I'm sending, is it respectful? Are you using some slimy, sleazy tactics to make them feel really shit about themselves so that they'll buy your program? That's not being respectful to your audience. Or are you helping them to make their decision, providing useful, valuable information on what your program's about, how it helps people, what types of people really benefit from it? That's respecting your audience. And what does my tribe most need to hear from me right now? What's the one thing that I could say that is really going to help them? Sometimes during a launch, I'll have all of these pre-written emails, but sometimes I'll just sit down and just, again, stomach and heart, what do they really need me to send out an email to them today? You know, again, tuning into intuition. So this is really important to be taking aligned action in your business. Whoops. We'll get there. So is there anything feeling misaligned for you right now? Is there anything you're doing in your business that just doesn't feel right? Okay, you might not want to share it, but really take away some of these practices and activities to get yourself back into alignment. And you might just find that something miraculous happens afterwards. Often when we make these changes that we need to make, you know, it's incredible what happens. I've actually, Denise, years ago when I first did her program, she had this PDF she doesn't have anymore, and you had to write a letter to the universe. I wasn't really into, well, I didn't think I was, hadn't remembered at this time, but I wasn't really into spiritual woo-woo stuff at this point in time. Thought this is kind of ridiculous, but I did it anyway. I was sitting in this job that I didn't really want to be in, and I wrote, "Dear universe, I'd really like to get some sort of promotion on TV," because I thought, how's my business going to be successful? I need to be on TV. That's how I'm going to get the word out there, da, da, da. I closed the book up, put it away, and went back to what I was really meant to be doing, which was some training work. And my mobile phone rang. And it was Today Tonight. And they'd found my website. And they were wondering if I would come on and be their mumpreneur expert. And, you know, be interviewed about mumpreneurs and the rise of, because this is what I focused on back then, the rise of the mumpreneur and da, da, da. I was shaking, my whole body was, are you kidding me? Literally, I reckon 5 minutes after I wrote that letter. Okay, so it's amazing what doing action, doing certain actions, asking for what you want, getting clear on what you want, what that can do. I might have bought Denise's program after that because I thought there's something to this woman. So, key alignment questions as well. Like if you're thinking about launching, you know, sometimes I have clients and they've paid me money to get them launching, but sometimes I know they're not actually aligned to getting the work out there right now, okay? And so sometimes I will make other suggestions of things they could be doing to move themselves forward because I just know that alignment is not yet there. So do you have the energy to run this launch? Because launches do take energy. Do you really want this? Is this actually really what you want, or has someone told you you should be doing it? Do you have the support that you need to run a successful launch? Are you under extreme stress, whether that's financial, health, or relationships? Because it's really hard to be aligned when you're under extreme stress. Financial stress, relationship stress, health stress. Are you listening to what is truly right for you? Do you want to achieve your launch goals for the wrong reasons? Is it about external validation? Is it an ego thing of being able to say you did an X-figure launch? Okay? You should be coming from a place of wanting to do it for yourself, wanting to serve your tribe, wanting to create a more abundant life for your family. It shouldn't be ego-driven reasons. Is this product and launch aligned to your highest good? I also say to my clients in one of my programs, there's always a reason, okay? If the launch doesn't go the way you expect, there's always a reason, and you might not know it right now, but you're gonna know it. Whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month, you're gonna know why that program didn't fill. And that has always been my experience. If I put something out there, something that I thought that I wanted, it didn't fill, within a month at the most, I know exactly why that program didn't fill. Because it wasn't in my highest good. Either there was something better coming up, a better idea, a better program, or they weren't the right clients, or I wasn't aligned, I didn't have time. There's always a reason for why something doesn't come through. So just remember that fear and resistance is normal, but being misaligned is a sign to take a step back and rethink things. This is stuff I have to work with a lot with my clients because it's really tricky to know the difference. And this is why we need to be practicing these embodiment techniques. So some other things you can use to help. This is something that I learnt in Denise's program, again, unintended negative consequences. Okay? So she does them around money. I do them around launching. What are my unintended negative consequences about launching? And we might think, oh, there's none. Like, of course I want to have a successful launch and I want to earn money. There's nothing there. But it might be that your partner is threatened by your success. It might be that you won't have enough time to spend with your kids. It might be that someone accuses you of copying their work. There's always reasons underneath why we don't want to be successful. Okay, so what I do is I get my clients to write a whole list of all of their unintended negative consequences, the things that could potentially go wrong if they were successful, and then we do EFT and we tap them out. Kinesiology and muscle testing. I'm a big lover of kinesiology, and particularly energy medicine-based kinesiology and getting energy clearing. And I even just use muscle testing myself to help me make decisions, to help me work out if I'm aligned to things. Chakra healing or clearing can be really effective when you're wanting to put yourself out there. The book that I'm writing is all about what happens in our chakra system when we're wanting to put ourselves out there and be visible and be seen, okay? And actually our body kind of goes like this when we want it to be going like this, okay? So chakra healing and clearing can be really helpful. Embodiment, as I've said, journaling, trying to dig deep into what is actually underneath what's going on. Reframing, as I've told you about. Love an oracle card, love pulling an oracle card. For me, it's not about it being some woo-woo magic, it's about it helping me tune into my intuition. Okay, I've picked this card, what does this card mean for me? Okay? Radical self-care. I'm a big believer that when you're launching something, business, website, yourself, you should be taking care of yourself better than at any other time of year. You should be buying yourself flowers, getting a massage, going out with your girlfriends, sleeping more. We actually do the opposite, we sleep less. We should actually be treating ourselves better than ever, because what's going to happen is you're going to vibrate on this much higher level. You're going to be happier, you're going to be rested, you're going to feel like you're treating yourself like a queen, and then you're going to be emanating that positivity. And that is going to draw people towards you. Okay? If you are working so hard, burning yourself out, not getting any sleep, feeling exhausted, feeling resentful, do you think that energy is going to attract people to you? It's not. And have fun. Like, to get aligned, just go out and have some fun. Rediscover what it is that lights you up. Okay, I was on a retreat in October last year in Bali, and I was, as I said, I'd lost my vision last year, and I really wasn't sure where to go. And I remember saying to my the leader of this retreat, I just want to work out what I'd do even if no one was paying me. Like, that I have that much love for, I'd do if no one was paying me. And I just couldn't work it out. But during every break, I was off giving people astrology readings for free because I loved it, right? It was right in front of me, but I couldn't see it. So just go and have fun. Discover what lights you up. Discover the things in your business that you really want to be doing. So just quickly, some examples of me aligning my business was originally I had the eCourse launch formula, very strategy-based, very tool-based, very systems-orientated, and I still have it. People still love it, still go through it. But then I created Launch Mastery that brought in mindset, alignment, intuition, energy work, all of these other aspects that are really important. That was me aligning more to myself, to what I'm here to teach, how I'm here to help people. So it was strategy and systems and how-to things like mindset and visibility, soul medicine and energetics, astrology and soul purpose. My first mastermind was the Ultimate eCourse Mastermind. Again, this is like a premium level mastermind, 3 retreats involved in it, loads of one-on-one help. You know, they could have used me for anything that they wanted to do with getting the eCourse out there. I just didn't, you know, some of them had some great results, don't get me wrong, but a number of them that really should have gotten them out there didn't. I'm like, what's going on here? They've got everything they need to get these out there. And I realized it was we weren't dealing with any of the stuff underneath, about why they were afraid to put themselves out there, why they were afraid to be visible, okay? So my mistress mind now is about bravery, soul alignment, soul purpose. Okay? Again, that's just aligning. It's an example of how I've aligned in my business. So I really love this quote by Osho. Don't seek, don't search, don't ask, don't knock, don't demand. Relax. If you relax, it comes. If you relax, it is there. If you relax, you start vibrating with it. And this is what I had to do last year. I was a Sagittarius that had lost her vision, the thing that was most important to me in my life. I just had to relax, I had to trust, I had to surrender that it would come back. So that is the end of my formal talk, but I'm really happy to answer any questions you have around the many areas that I specialize in, around eCourses, launching, and anything else that I've talked about today.
When we get customers, but when we're not, they're not there. Why have we changed in that sort of way? How has that sort of come about, do you think?
Do you mean why have you changed in terms of putting things out there, or why do people not?
Well, you used to just do actions
and
you get business, but now it's like you need to be really connected into what you're doing and be in the zone. And if you're not, it's sort of you lose customers coming in. I just find it's something that's shifted.
Oh, absolutely. The whole, particularly online world, has shifted. I think what happened was in the early days, it was really new. People were new to all of the different marketing tactics and things that people were doing. It was new and interesting, and you didn't even really have to have a particularly good quality product to make sales. Facebook ads were super new. They were actually pretty cheap back then, even when we thought they weren't. It wasn't a crowded marketplace, okay? These days, there's a lot more people on the scene. There's a lot more people doing it. Now, I'm not a believer in scarcity mindset. I believe there's enough for everyone. I believe that it's about finding your soul clients, and they're out there, right? But when you're in a crowded marketplace, yeah, you're gonna have to step it up a notch, okay? You're gonna have to get more in tune with what you're really here to do. You're going to have to really care about helping your people and really think about how can I help them the most, because it's noisier and it's more crowded. And also, people used to be happy just to give the email away. These days, people are really wary because they know as soon as they opt in for something, they're going to get a heap of emails. I don't want to get email. You know, it's just a lot harder because people are savvier, okay? But it's a good thing. At the end of the day, it's a good thing. It will have weeded out of a lot of people out of the market that weren't there for the right reasons, that weren't genuine, that weren't authentic. It's pushing all of us to step up, do a better job, really ask ourselves, what do we really want to be doing, making sure we're in alignment. So I see it as a positive thing, but it's still absolutely a challenging thing. It's been anyone I know in the online world, even super successful people, have struggled over the last few years because of this shift that's going on, okay? But it's going to make it a much better industry as we move through that shift. Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone else? Yeah?
What are your thoughts on live versus evergreen?
I get asked this all the time. And I do have strong opinions on live versus evergreen. I have some things that are evergreen, and I have some things that I launch live. What I know for a fact is, particularly at the stage most of you people will be at, is that launches build momentum, launches build exposure. If you want to use the word hype, they build your list. They're the most effective way to sell your program. Most of you are not going to have enough website traffic coming to your website every day to hit the 2% conversion, which is actually kind of on the high end these days, to get a lot of sales just by going evergreen. You're going to need to step it up, be visible, get yourselves out there. That being said, okay, so what you would think of as your signature offering, you should be launching. Okay? There's a reason why Marie Forleo, 44,000 people have gone through her B school. There is a reason why she launches every year still, why she does not have an evergreen product, because it is the most profitable and effective way for her business, okay? That being said, it is fine to have some offerings on your website that are evergreen and to get little trickles of sales or to set up a funnel that brings those sales in. But I think you need to be strategic about what you launch and what you just have open for sale at any time.
So if you have the same, so that product that you're launching, could you recommend having that as an evergreen just sitting there as well and then doing launches 2 or 3 times a year?
I think that's what Denise does with her program. Yeah. So you can. At the moment, I'm not live launching my eCourses. But I have done that. I personally, and I've measured this a lot over the years, I've done it and I still find just having them just do my launches, whether it's once a year, 2 times a year, 3 times a year, closing it the rest of the time, that's how I've gotten my best results, because you need to create some momentum for people. You need to give them a reason why they should sign up now, okay? Because they think, oh, I can sign up anytime, and then they kind of forget, and the next shiny object comes along and they've forgotten about you. Okay. So you want to know specifically, yeah. Pricing, and specifically around like what you should price for evergreen versus live. So it should be a premium for a live round because people are getting the momentum of the other group going through it. They're normally getting more support from you, etc. My position on pricing these days, and I've kind of shifted a bit over the years, but my position on pricing is that it is just as hard to sell a $99 product as it is to sell a $997 product, okay? The conversion rate is exactly the same. So firstly, I would say to people, why would you want to sell it for $99 if you can sell it for $997? I know I'd want to be selling it for $997. The key here, though, is you can kind of get away with perhaps a bit cheaper branding, a smaller sales page. It doesn't have to look quite as nice to get people to part with $99 versus $997. It's all about positioning. So if you want to have a premium priced product, you need to position it in a premium way. I would rather do that, make that investment up front, and then be selling the $997 product. But the fact is, research has shown that the conversion rate is, on average, is exactly the same. It doesn't matter what you're pricing it at, okay? So I say to my clients, I want you to decide what would feel really good to sell this program for, okay? What is going to feel good, that you're going to feel happy, you're not going to feel resentful, you're going to feel like people are valuing your time and expertise, and then I want you to sell it for that. And then we'll look at the positioning, we'll look at the packaging, we'll look if, for that price you need to add anything else in or take things away. But I get them to feel into what feels good, because I think if we're feeling good about the price, again, we're going to attract people to buy it. Definitely had instances of clients way undercharging for their programs and then blocking sales because they don't want to actually have to deliver for such a small return, okay? So that's the really incredible thing. The conversion rate is exactly the same.
Question then, you talk about only having so many people come through and doing the program. Why would you limit it to a small group of people?
I didn't actually limit it, but in my head, I was limiting it, right?
But are you closing it, did you close it this many people, or did you leave it open?
No, it was always left open. What I was saying was I had this belief in my head. So let's, for example, say that the biggest round that had come through my program, maybe it was 150 people. So in my head, I've set kind of this ceiling of, I really don't think I could support more than 200 coming through in a fresh round, right? So I'd kind of made that association in my head. So no, I wasn't limiting who could sign up. It was more of a mental thing.
You see a lot of programs around that go limited places. Is it purely a marketing ploy, or is it really seriously limited?
Sometimes a marketing ploy. I will say though, if it's more of a mastermind level or something where they're offering one-on-one coaching, that sort of thing, there's only so many people you can serve.
Yeah, I understand that.
So if it's like a totally passive product and they're saying that, then yeah, it's just really poor marketing, in my opinion. Yeah, no worries. So maybe perhaps just one more question down the back. A bit of a mixture. Actually, that last... can't ever seem to get this right. Hold on. I'll get there, guys. Right. This last logo down the bottom, Your Soulful Biz, I did that. I just did that in Canva. The one up the top was designed by a designer. Both of those were done by a designer. Okay, this is really interesting. I'll be quick because I know I'm nearly out of time, but when I first started my business, I used to have ideas, get them out, but I could go from idea to launch in the same day and be making money in the same day. Then as I started getting more successful, I kind of felt like I had to meet this certain level of branding and quality, and then suddenly there were copywriters involved and graphic designers and all of these different people, and so it could take 6 months for me to get a product out there. I was kind of the most successful and had the most momentum when I was just getting it out there, when I had that, I was in the flow. And so I decided when I had the idea for this Mistress Mind, I went, I don't want to have to wait 3 months for my designer to be ready and a copywriter to write copy. So I just challenged myself to let go of any worries that people would think the branding wasn't professional enough and just create it myself and get it out there.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. I think I have an okay design eye, which helps, but it was also about me challenging myself that I didn't have to go and spend a huge amount of money on branding and stuff, and to just put it out there, and go with where that energy was at the time, and it worked. I filled the places, and amazing group of women, and I'm loving doing the work. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, no worries. Thank you.